Starseed Ascension welcomes guests from a variety of backgrounds to gain perspectives, experiences, and information in the paranormal, spiritual, and ET space. We are a community of spiritual explorers who seek to help raise consciousness. And now, here's your host of Starseed Ascension, Jamie Voss Love.
Oh my goodness, I just popped out into the ethers, which happens often in this high frequency energy. So sorry about that. Welcome back to Starseed Ascension. I am your host, Jamie Voss Love, and tonight we are here with another very special guest who is Andye Murphy. And Andye has been called a portal of galactic consciousness. So serving as an illuminator, an oracle, and a shaman, she guides you into the radiance of your purpose. She has walked through the Akashic Records for over 20 years and offers a unique perspective, one of the mysteries and the divine feminine. So she activates pathways of initiation for you to gain lived experiences in the realms beyond. And Andye leads an Egyptian mystery school whose lineage traces back all the way through to the Atlanteans and the Sirians. She is a true portal and seeks to help you remember that of limitless reality that is yours to joyously create. So please welcome Andye Murphy.
Heck yeah, I hear that and I'm like, that's some good fucking words right there. Hello. Hello.
Good intro, huh?
That's very good. Thanks.
Yeah,
Hi, Mama.
yeah.
Nice to see
You
you.
popped us off into the ethers with your high frequency
blast. Yeah. I was trying to ground. Trying to be present right here. But yeah, that's kind of how things go around here, right? I raise frequencies and yeah, it's a fun place to play, that's for darn sure.
Absolutely. So Andye, 6 years ago, I believe it was 6 years ago or so, I heard you on one of my favorite podcasts at the time, Spirit Guides Radio.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love
Do you
those
remember
ladies. Of course.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun back then. It was it felt small, but I think it had a bigger reach than we knew, but there was like a lot of intimacy because me and Morgan Garza still talk every week. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Love it. And that was about the time that my gifts were coming back online again, like another round, and right before I was getting ready to sort of come out into that world. And so heard about your journey, loved your energy, love your energy now. And of course we had you in the Starseed Ascension container teach several classes and do activations.
I think we did one on the, did we do it on the coup? Oh, we did the coup teachings, didn't we? Yeah, that's when I was doing a lot of the Egyptian stuff. And so shit was coming in where I'm like, where does this get to go? So thank you for your graciousness with letting me come in and do all of the beautiful stuff that channels through here.
I love it. It was definitely, intended to be that way. And that was a galactic channeled event. So we're super happy to have you and, just doing those high frequency activations, star family connections, Egyptian magic, and thrilled to have you back.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So Andye, let's go back though in Earth time or before that if you choose. It doesn't have to be linear. For those listeners and viewers who may not know about your journey, anything you feel called to share of what
it's funny. I'll say that right now I'm finishing book number 2, Confessions of a Teenage Psychic. So I've been very much in this like timeline of where all of this kind of began in this life. My dad sent me a picture today and he's like, even at like 2 years old, like you were not from here and you were seeing beyond. So I think I've always been designed, right? Felt odd as a kid, but I didn't know, right? There's a lot of insecurities to get to the place. But by the time I was getting into college, like I knew what I wanted to do and I didn't know how. So shaman, galactic, UFOs, prophetic dreams, psychic kid, new shit I shouldn't know. And really trying to figure out like how to feel safe enough being that. Right? It's a journey. We don't just get to like pop out. Well, maybe millennials and younger kids now do, but of my generation in the 80s, it wasn't common and it was pretty, there was no paths that were paved. So I think that's a lot of what I desire now is like, let's pave the paths. Let's open the doors. Like it's safe for all of us to be this. But I started my shamanic training 2004, I think, and did my Akashic training in 2001. So as soon as I had my first Akashic Records reading, everything in my life changed. And from then I got initiated in the Akashic Records. And man, has it been a journey from here to there. And so it's over 20 years in the records in this lifetime. It's fascinating because the field keeps evolving. I keep evolving. We keep evolving. And so I'm finding these limitations that I'm seeking to bring some freshness and new perspective to, which is pretty sexy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Yep.
So yeah, well, definitely I have some questions around the Akashics. But you mentioned, being a psychic kid. Were there any experiences that you remember that stand out for you?
There were tons of experiences. There was one specific haunting that was really hard. But I think the most fascinating one that I played with this week is I had an invisible friend, and I remember being like 8. Invisible friend is standing next to me, full grown woman, long black hair. And I'm like, why aren't you a kid? And she's like, I'm here to make sure that you don't get off track. And she was she was a Mayan goddess that came to me later as I was doing different work. So I was able to reconnect with her. But I had these series of dreams, guides, visitations. Edgar Casey came to me when I was 7 or 8, telling me I needed to get to Colorado and I'd be safe. So I had this like, what we might call a spirit guide council. But for me, they were the elders who I somehow found my way to. Like I was reading Edgar Casey at 6. Shirley MacLaine had done Out on a Limb. So that like there were enough pieces for me. But I kept having these very big energies, very big dreams that were like, we can't afford to get you off track. It's so even when I was, enjoying Austin life and all that those college years in Austin afforded, there was always a little bit of scolding. So in my perspective, born awake and not allowed to go to sleep. So anytime that I would drift off or just kind of get into some human, there would be something that just kind of slapped me right back in every time. I'm grateful now, but at the time it didn't make sense because I didn't know, what am I supposed to be doing with this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And psychic kid who knows too much and makes adults uncomfortable because adults like to not tell truth. Adults like to think that they can keep a facade up, and I would just go bam right in a way that made them very uncomfortable. And then I thought I had done something wrong. So that took some work to unravel. I'm like, bitch be lying. I know that now, but as a kid, it would ricochet back on me like I had done something wrong whenever I would speak to a truth that they weren't willing to fess up to.
Yeah.
Oops.
Spoken like a true starseed, truth seeker, truth bringer.
Oh
I love
my gosh.
it.
Yep.
Truth bearer.
Yep.
So that probably did that sort of weave into your healing journey?
Well, of course it did. I mean, I'm Cancer in 5 planets. So like we've got that first, right? So like there's lots of feeling. There's lots of sensitive Scorpio first house. Like, fuck, I am designed to be what I am.
A lot of water there.
A lot of water, a lot of insight, a lot of like weirdness that I can't ever get away from. But it was really challenging because I took it all personally. What other option did I have as a kid, except if someone would respond to me? Lots of isolation, lots of alone, which just sent me into deeper places of myself and masturbation and weed.
There you go.
Good pathways of self-exploration in the young years. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you chose a creative one. I love it.
God, I did. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, cool. So you mentioned your second book. Do you want to just share a little bit while we're here on your first book, just to throw it out there?
I can. Yeah, I don't even. Thank you. So I did Journey Journals, Spirit Guide Edition. And so for me, once I found the shamanic journey, that would have been like 2004, 2005. The shamanic journey opened everything. And so I created this journey journal is what I call it. And I'm going to have a full series of them. But this one to meet spirit guides, what you need to avoid, guided journeys to get in there. But then it's also like really a journal of like, who did you meet? What did you learn? Where did you go? Because I know for myself, I've got these notes and notebooks everywhere. So to have it in one place, I was so excited to put that into the world. So I think the journey is so accessible to everyone. It's not something that's hard. It's not something that's special. It's not something that just psychics can do. So to be able to have access to it in a way that is kind of navigating you through like where the pitfalls could be, because we can find it on our own, but it's so much fucking easier when somebody's telling us how. So I was really grateful that came in pretty quickly, pretty easily to be able to share with others how. So yeah, Journey Journals on Amazon.
Love it. Yes, I can definitely relate to that experience, like going through the awakening in the initial phases, and then also like some childhood experiences, and remembering like the feeling of how cool would it be if there were other people that like knew about this, and which I wasn't aware of at the time. Yeah, they existed, but we didn't.
They did, but how would we know? In the lack of internet and the lack of, safety to even speak, I don't know that I thought I was the only one, but yeah, it was very isolating. So to be able to meet with guides when I eventually got there, to have a pathway of being able to talk to spirit, to gain. Like I had friends. Holy fuck, I had friends, but I didn't know how to talk to them before, right? I'd known that they were here. They were always, I didn't know how to engage with them. So for me, the shamanic journey gave me that tool. And and drumming, like it's just fucking fun to drum and be able to like bring somebody into that journey too. Cause yeah.
Very cool. Going deep. So you then you find with your clientele now, or even in recent years, that it's still the case that there's like this sort of feeling that it's unsafe, or it was unsafe for them, or do you feel like that is starting to shift a little bit with more conscious parents?
the conscious parents make it all easier. Like we have more honest conversations. We know well, I'll say it as a parent too, right? I know myself better as a parent, so I can guide through a lot of the pitfalls. I've been very conscious to keep my daughter as awake as she wants to be. I had this experience when she was about three or four, and she said something about not being able to walk through the wall. And I was like, I tripped out, and I was like, who told you that? Who told you that fucking wall is real? That wall is not real. It just vibrates. And I was so angry that like something in a fixed reality had gotten in, and I didn't know where it had gotten in. And then I looked at my husband at the time and I was like, did I just fuck her up? Like, did I just, So for me, it was always about keeping things open. And with clients, it's funny, a lot of my clients right now are in their 70s. So that's been a fascinating one to be able to like loop them back through and bring them into different places of power now. Of course it's safer. And I remember like, I had this one moment, I'm like, fuck, we aren't being burnt at the stake this time. Like it's safe for us to be us this time. So there is, especially as it's gotten a little bit of popularity to it even, right? Like, Jamie, we get to do this in public, girl. Like, holy shit. It's safer. We've got more conscious parents. And there was a New York Times article recently, I think that's what it was, where they were talking about kids who saw past lives. So we're having too many experiences that can't really be covered up anymore, right? And there's too much access to information. That's funny. We're no longer the crazy ones. We can see who the fucking crazy ones are because they're watching the news still. We aren't the crazy ones. And so I think that that's been shifting in our favor pretty beautifully. Safe for us to be us. And in that, people respond to us differently. So it's no longer a rejection. It seems to be a little bit more welcoming in this world right now for us.
Yep. Outside of the occasional troll.
Really? Okay, well, they have to do something, those poor little bastards. What else are they doing?
So, Andye, with your experiences, you mentioned, galactic and UFO. Did you sort of have a first encounter type experience that you remember?
I love your question because I haven't remembered yet, and I'll say that. I always knew they were there, always fascinated by them. At 5, I was checking out books in the library. So I think my on-ramp was more of wanting it to be rather than having a direct experience of. My dad and grandmother both had direct experiences of aliens and first encounters. But they were always told to me in terror. They were never told to me as like something loving and something good. So my own pathway there, I wanted it to be there. I wanted it to be real. But, Jamie, to this day, I've still not seen a UFO. I've still not been taken on a ship. And I'm like, really, y'all? So my access points are other, but I'm like, Red Rocks is very close to me here in Colorado. Red Rocks last night, we had 12 employees who saw a UFO that had like 3 layers of windows on it. And all of the employees could explain like, yeah, y'all. Have you gone into a ship?
Amazing. Only in the astrals.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's where I can get it too. But, and then X-Files is very big.
I'm ready for a landing.
Take me home. But I think a lot of my journey.
Earth is a place to be.
Earth is the place to be. No, I've really learned that in the last few years. And I'm like, yeah, it's about the joy of being here. It's not about trying to go anywhere else. And it's about being able to take those pieces, memories, experiences, activations, and like bring them here. Oh my God, that's much more fun game, right? We'll go back there eventually. This is where we get to be right now. Yeah,
that's right. Bringing through the new Earth. Yeah. So then, what was your first connection? Or and that makes sense because if you always know, so that contact or encounter may not be something that's required. Is your connection with the Sirians? How did that sort of manifest itself?
Don't you like how I sigh on that? Where like, I will say I am a very snotty Sirian, where people would be like, you're a Pleiadian. I'm like, fuck off. I know my lineage in that way. I don't know. I can't even say how I know it, except like I know where I came from. I know what I know. I know Star Family. I think the Egyptian made it all a bit easier in that way. But the Sirian for me, like, Thanks. I'm jumping a little bit because it was interesting. There was one point in time where I was working with a lot of Pleiadian clients, and they always had like this blue chamber that came like up above heart and down that I could like watch it like pulsate. I don't know if Assyrians have anything like that, but we have lineage and memories, and it's also funny because I've never fucking researched it. I'm not interested so much in reading it outside of myself. This channel and connection to it, I'm good. I'm good. And I don't think it's out of hubris. I don't think it's out of ego. I think I want to stay uncontaminated in some ways so that connection is pure. So yeah, I had a dream about Sekhmet one time, and I watched the way that they had spliced the races of beings together. So I have very clear Atlantis memories. I have very clear memories of the genetic splicing that got things here, and none of it was pretty. I mean, it was brutal. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't safe. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't. It felt very rudimentary to me even back then. But shit, Jamie, isn't it terrible that so many of these things really do live in me as horror at times? And not that I reject it because of that, but I'm cautious and I'm discerning because of that. So yeah, as they were getting those mixed races in here, so in the Egyptian, we would have had, the heads and the bodies being different. Oh, shit. There was lots of initiation chambers for beings who were trying to get here, and lots of, when I look at the pyramids, I see like 7 or 8 pyramids. I don't just see the 3 there. So my brain immediately goes into the multidimensional and then the upside down ones. So I know what each of those pyramids was used for. And in order to initiate beings to be able to embody on this planet, because that was such a hard thing, right? Taking on the physicality of things. Whew. Yeah, there was some brutality that was involved in those early science experiments that I wish were a little more advanced and sophisticated, but not fun.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Something frightening went down.
Something hard went down. And was it necessary for some degree of advancement? Perhaps. I don't know exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and even for me with Atlantis, like Atlantis took lots of healing too, because my memories of Atlantis are very traumatic. My memories are of leaving Atlantis. My memories are of like hearing the screams and hearing the cries. I can't get back to the golden era. That'd be fucking rad if I could. But my trauma is right there, and it's taken a lot to unravel and try to soften to it because all this water. We know I'm Lemurian. Let's be real. We know where I came from. And I remember as I was remembering Lemurian lifetimes, I would always look down and I didn't have feet. And I'm like, where the fuck are my feet? But it took so many lifetimes to be able to incarnate into this density. We weren't here all the way, but it always felt, I would try to draw it and be like Casper, right? Like there's no feet. I don't understand what it is that we're trying to do here. It took a lot. And I think that's also the gift of embodying right now, right? Like we are here. We have mastered it. We are in really cool places with it. It took so fucking long to get here.
Yeah.
I'll be sweet.
It was a ride.
It was a ride. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like your questions though, because well, fuck, Jamie. Aren't you the coolest? Because you get to ask all the cool questions that nobody else does. Woo, woo! Thank you.
I love it. Well, speaking of all of that water, birthday coming up?
Birthday was last week. Wasn't it though?
Birthday.
Thank you. I spent some time. I ate a cupcake naked and watched Doctor Who, and I was so fucking happy. And I'm like, this is what my bougie looks like. New Doctor Who. Have you seen it or enjoyed it yet?
I haven't yet. Not the new one.
He's so good. He's pure joy. He's pure fuck. Like he brings a whole new sparkle to it that you wouldn't have expected.
So we should watch it.
You should watch. You should definitely watch the new Doctor Who. Different than the old, so like purists may not like it so much, but like he's pure love, and in a way that you're like, we don't have an old crotchety old man traveling around space and time now. We have somebody who's really in joy and in love with it all. That's new. Yep, pretty cool.
Fantastic. Well, I'll definitely put that on my watch list. And Andye, we're just going to take a quick break real quick, and then quick.
Quick.
Then we'll be back.
Okay.
This September 6th through the 13th, join with like-minded souls in the experience of a lifetime on the Royal Caribbean Ovation of the Seas as we travel from Seattle to Alaska. Internationally renowned researchers, investigators, experiencers, authors, holistic healers, contactees, spiritual luminaries will sail on an extraordinary voyage of transformation. This cruise will explore UFOs, alien contact, cover-ups, ancient mysteries, the paranormal, holistic healing, and spirituality. Experience engaging lectures, one-on-one sessions, private, custom-tailored excursions, and a nightly UFO watch. The cruise is booking up fast. Go to contactatsea.com and be sure to mention the UNX Network when you book. That's contactatsea.com or phone 336-749-1219. That's 336-749-1219.
This is Margie Kay, and I'd like to say thank you to all of our KUNX show hosts, staff, listeners, and viewers for making us number one on Paranormal Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Starseed Ascension. I am here tonight with Andye Murphy.
Every time you say Starseed Ascension, I'm like, you did it. I love the name. I love the concept. I love that you get to bring it to us. Thanks.
Yeah. My pleasure. Speaking of starseeds, what do you define a starseed as?
Oh, shit. I think everybody's probably starseed, right? Some of us here to drive it a little bit more than others, but nobody originated here. Let's be real. So those of us who are being asked to carry the torch first, I always feel like we're the front waves of it, right? We're the ones who have to remember first. We're the ones who get hit first. We're the ones who have to take the harder breaks so that it's a little bit safer for everyone else. We're all starseed, but being able to remember, a place of love that's bigger than this, being able to remember for me being a starseed, like it gives me so much perspective. I don't get to take shit so seriously, right? I'm like, come on now. It's just this one little tiny piece. It's this one little grain of sand. So I appreciate that about it. Is there anyone though who isn't a starseed?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, would you consider, do you think that we're all kind of ETs, hybrids, or what? Is this part of the galactic DNA?
Totally. I mean, yeah, we're this great cosmic little mix of everything, but nobody originated here, and nobody started here, and nobody's gonna stay here. So yeah, my perspective on what Starseed would be in that regard is like we're all just remembering our way back, because it's the truth and it's the origin of all of us. But not everybody wants to claim it yet, and that's cool because it gives us a whole lot more to talk about.
For sure. Yeah, and some might just have, I don't know what else to describe it as, a limited frequency band where like those memories haven't been activated or awakened.
Yeah. Or they're being deeply suppressed, right? Because we know plenty of people who are doing that too. So, yeah.
Could be. I love it. Well, before we go on to kind of the next topics, I still have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you about the Egyptian, because I super love the Egyptian. Do you, in your experience of channeling, has it come to you that this Syrian connection, was that a part of the Egyptians, or did they come before the Egyptians?
Syrians came before the Egyptians. So the mystery school that I am a part of, I found that in 2008. I've been working with it since then. So it's pretty, it felt like coming home once I finally was able to sit with it all. The teachings that we work through came through Atlantis, came through Egypt, but came directly from Sirius. And so these were the teachings of how to get us back home when it was finally time. So their energy work and body work and activation of all of the light bodies and setting of the Jed. And it's a science. It's not a casual piece. Like, I love that I get to participate in it. I feel really fortunate that it found me in this. I don't know if it had an opportunity not to find me in this life, but I'm glad I didn't push it away too much. But yeah, like the teachings that we have, they came right down of how to embody, how to take on form, so that whenever we leave here, we know how to do it again. And I'll say, I have a friend who passed away recently. I haven't talked about it publicly yet because it's still pretty tender. But he was very well practiced in the fucking mysteries. And he has been so profound on the other side. The other night I was sitting with him. It's changing my perception on death. It's changing the way that I experience, like, what happens on the other side. Even as one who's been very open, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's beautiful. I cuss a lot. I realized I did that at the very beginning. Am I going to apologize? It's just how I'm built. But this beauty of, he knew his way through the mysteries. He knew how to build a body, because that's one of the fundamental teachings for us in the Egyptian. And so on the other side, he's like, got it done. Like, it is so wild to experience in a physical way and not just, it's wild. I think this is going to be a big initiation as he continues his journey over there. Yeah.
Wow. So
did I answer your Egyptian question? The teachings are Syrian. The teachings, and the teachings more than Syrian, the teachings are like how matter forms, right? Through the Akashic, how does matter form, and how do we affect that matter? And then how do we affect the fabric of reality? So it's a science, it's a technology, it's specific, and it has to be set the right way. And in the absence of it, like, no wonder we have such dodo birds running around. Like, none of us have taught this. None of us have remembered this. None of us are doing this. So, it's a cosmic technology. It's not just the Syrian. That's at least the way it's been told to me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's all through the Egyptian mystery school that you run. That's part of the curriculum.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's been a wild ride because it was challenging to accept. Leading is the way that I can say it, right? I don't teach. I probably hold it, but I don't have the right skin color. Like, that was such a challenge to me of like, who the fuck am I to be able to go in and claim this? And then they can show me like lifetime after lifetime. And I'm like, I get it. And truly, like, it's been my shit. Nobody else has had a problem with it. It's been my own little insecurity to work with. But like it's in here. It's in here. I don't need to explain it. You'll feel it or you won't, and it's fine. Yeah.
Well, Andye, did you well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. Just want to send love there.
Thank you for that piece, and it's fascinating and complicated and a blessing, and thank you.
Sounds like he'll be sharing some more fascinating material as time goes on. I love that. Still being a friend and a guide.
Oh, he was so sassy about it too, and he's like, "I'm the first one to do the mysteries, bitch." And like, I'm like, "Holy!" He's like, "I'm the first one over here. I'm going to show you some stuff," and that's immediately like pretty much how he landed on the other side. Where like, didn't know. Okay, yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Andye, so you are a shaman. Do you consider yourself an earth shaman, a celestial shaman, a both, or just what is shaman?
Yeah, galactic shaman would be the way that I kind of go, because it took me it's taken me a long time to be in this body. Frequently out of body experience as a kid, like it took me a long time to be here. So even as shaman in the earlier years, I didn't want to do anything at the physical level. I'm like, I don't get bodies. I don't get organs. I don't know how all of this works. So I became very good working in energetic fields, like light body technician is what they would call me. Like I'm going to get to the stuff before it ever gets physical. So the shamanic way that I practice is very much one of tuning in order to anchor up. It's not about anchoring down. We've got to clear these bodies and the nervous system and all of that stuff. But no, I think galactic shaman is where I've always kind of shown up in that way, which is so much more vast and so much more interesting. And not that the earth isn't gorgeous and beautiful. I learn a lot from her and I love her. But in my cosmology personally, like she's a piece and then there's all of the other stuff too. Oh, shit. So she's doing her ascension. And I think that's kind of the interesting part of this journey is for me right now, it's less about, well, it's not less, but this is really her party and we showed up for it. And so us being able to do our part helps her. She gets to do something else. And so do we, right? But yes, it is her story and her party right now that we're just participating in.
Love it. And you, and you know, as a galactic guide and still, like you said, still connecting with the earth. I think that I remember you talking about like just listening to the messages of the plants, and this was like a while back, so it feels like, you know, both of those energies kind of funnel through. Do you
but the plants are going to be holding galactic frequencies. The plants, like I sing the songs of the plants. I hear the songs of the plants. I speak the language of the plants. The plants are just kind of anchoring galactic frequencies a little bit, right? So
like the mushrooms.
Like the mushrooms, but like, thank you, like the fucking ferns and like the orchids. I can fall in love with the plant and like really go there all the way. I can remember creating orchids on this planet a long time ago. So for me, like the sound and the frequency that they hold that anchors them here, I just kind of want a joy, but I want it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where that question went, but they're holders of high vibration. They're just pure vibration, aren't they? God.
For sure. And what has your experience been with plant medicine?
It's
psychedelic sphere.
Yep, psychedelic sphere. It took me a long time to get back to it because I had a little bit of an ego of like, I don't do that. So I practiced shamanism for a long time without the ally of plants. 2015, I started doing mushroom ceremonies with shamans again. And so to be able to like come home to that. But for me, once I had the container set, oh shit, I didn't know about the container. So now that I know how to operate within that container, mushrooms for me, still my teacher, still a very personal journey. I don't feel ready to share it with others. The lady hasn't called me yet, which is good because I don't like throwing up. And I'm sure that there are experiences where you don't have to. But yeah, mushrooms and I are very good friends.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yep. Okay. Didn't know.
And it's funny because like You know that in no mushroom journey that I've ever done have there been any Egyptian energies show up. And I can remember being pissed off about it one time, like, where the fuck are you? And they're like, we're here all the time. We don't need to come now. Like, what are you talking about? And I'd really like to like see all of that because I'm not a psychic who sees stuff. So you would think, nope, that's not my access point. I probably need more Blue Lotus or something, and then they'll play with me. But I haven't seen them come through for me on mushrooms yet. Wah,
there
wah.
you go. So, Andye, when you do the drumming for others, are you walking them through, like, or guiding them through the shadow space as well as these like higher light frequencies and Akashic Records? Are you blending the two, going through like an Akashic journey drumming?
My perspective is like, that's where the work is. We have to do the work here. We have to love the shadows. We have to transmute it all. So this is a very alchemical process. So yeah, just going out galactic, wow, that doesn't hold a ton of value for me. Being able to like bring it here, anchor it here, live it here so that it ignites within the field, so it ignites within my body. Yeah. So I dig me some shadow work, and I can spot truth and find root causes pretty easy. I'm a little bit gnarly in that way. Like, I'm going right there. I'm going right there. I'm going right there. Pretty fearless because I know the value once it's removed. I know the value once it's been transmuted. So yeah, I love shadow work, but I try not to be a shadow hunter because I don't find that to be like, you can get a little addicted to like finding the shit that's wrong. And no, I'm here for all of it.
What you focus on expands, right? So you don't want to focus on one part of the darkness and the light, or the light.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Full
That's
experience,
fair.
baby.
The whole gamut. So you offer a unique perspective on the Akashic, and I know that you recently, or maybe it wasn't so recently, but there's kind of a new way of accessing and working with it. Anything you care to share about just your journey through the Akashic Records?
I would love to. Let me say, Jamie, I would fucking love to. I had to go through a pretty sincere breakup with Thoth recently, and Thoth has been not a personal guide, but someone who I really allied with. And in him being kicked out of my field, there's this way of the feminine that the Akashic is. So I'll just say as briefly and nicely as possible. And let me also caveat all of this. My perspective, my experience, not speaking to anybody else's. The Akashic Record has no value to me anymore. It's a record. It's an old fucking story. We keep telling, and it's patterns and it's things, and we keep retelling this. And so in that way, it's what's kept reality very fixed and rigid. Fucking starseeds. We know it's not fixed. We know it's not rigid. We know it's very influenceable. We know that we're here to like engage with it. So the Akashic Record for me has very limited value because it's all of the past. It's all of stories. I want to engage within an Akashic field because in the field, all of a sudden we're like, well, I've done all this fucking clearing. That's not still here. I'm having a lot of fun as this is coming in because my way has always been one of like going through the mystery, right? I want the my story, not the his story. I want the lived experiences of not just what other people have told me. I'm tired of the indoctrination in every facet of reality right now. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. And in that place of sovereignty, I want to be able to make the choices that align with who I am as a soul and where it is for my joy and where it is for my purpose. I'm not interested in the rest. So in the Akashic Records, we can't change shit. It feels very flat to me. It feels very old to me. And I think the story has expired. Time has expired. The era of time, we're moving into the era of space. So in that regard, time is just this thing, according to the Egyptians, right? We divided space into time so that human brains could engage and comprehend. And in doing that, we divided ourselves from the absolute, from the divine, from source. So time, as all of us know, like it glitches all the time. Nothing is working. Time doesn't move the same way it did. A clock doesn't work the same way. It doesn't take me as long to get there as it did like a week. Time is very glitchy right now because that paradigm on reality is done. Thoth's time is over. And so I hear these little lovely goobers who are talking about Thoth, and the Emerald Tablets. I'm like, fucking history, we're writing a new paradigm. So in this way, we're creating something new. We're creator beings. We're here to create. We are here to bring in something new. We are here to embody in different ways. You can't do that through a fucking Akashic record because it's got the old paradigm. So Akashic Field is much more of what I'm playing in right now. The Akashic Evolution is the book that I'm writing, reminding people through the Egyptian how to do this. And really, like in the old records, it's not a paradigm of love. It's a paradigm of suffering. It's a paradigm of pain. It's a paradigm of paying your taxes. It's a paradigm of like being made small. There's no space in that old paradigm for us to be what we were designed to be. So would you ask questions, Jamie? Because I'll take a breath for a second.
It doesn't sound like you're passionate about that at all.
And I'll also say the breakup with Thoth happened while I was on mushrooms too. And that was like, it was warfare that day. Because, you know, sometimes you don't always get pretty shit when you go in as shaman, as galactic, one who knows. Like there's warfare. That was warfare day. And I didn't know what I was fighting until I got out. And I was like, oh, you motherfucker. We're stuck in his paradigm. And so right now I experience him as the game master, right? This is his game. You'll use his geometry. You'll use his words. You'll use his language. You'll use his technology in order to like be in his game. And I'm like, I want outside of the fucking game. And I'm going to have to go through the mystery, through the my story in order to find the ways back to it.
Yeah. I like how you call it the Akashic Fields versus the records. That I like that.
A field is dynamic. A field is responsive. A field is bigger. A record is flat and hard and one-dimensional.
Do you feel then we are in karmic cycles because we believe that we need to be?
Of course. Of course. Because what being do you know that, thanks. In 2020, I got the Egyptian symbol of splendor tattooed on me. Didn't know that's what
I was supposed to ask you about a tattoo.
Oh, were you? Yeah. And so they've been my team has been very clear, and they're like, what the fuck did you put on you? Like, what did you brand yourself with? And so for me, like, era of suffering is done. We're in the era of splendor. We're in the era of remembering what we are. We're in the era where, in all of the old stories, we don't have a paradigm of love. We have a paradigm of punishment, right? And even if you look through modern religion or through taxes or like any of it, it's all punishing. Nah, bitches, I'm here for the splendor. And it doesn't mean that there's not pain, but it means that I go into those experiences as shadow in order to evolve it back into something that is grand again, so that it's not outside of my love and consciousness. A field, baby, a field. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we ascend beyond then the karmic cycle? Is that part of the work that you're doing, helping to activate those memories and release the soul memory of where we might feel stuck?
Yes. But where I've been playing in a field is when we can do it for one, it affects the whole field. And so rather than the record, which is very personal and you're just cleaning up your shit, come on, I'm not just here to clean up my shit. I'm here for all of it. So whenever I do the Akashic Field sessions, my desire is like, anytime this ever fucking happened, clear it, clear it, clear it. And then we've also got lots of beings, you probably know this, that feel like pillars, right? They're here to anchor a new Akashic reality. So that new Akashic reality, we might call that, 5D, 6D, whatever. It's all very complicated because humans can't fucking understand it. We don't really know, let's say that. But what I experience, myself and others, we're pillars. And so we're here to like bridge one reality to the next. There are architects who are kind of like putting in some of that new framework that we can then begin to create upon. And all of that, like ridiculously, Jamie, is in the mysteries. Like they teach you how to create matter. They teach you how to like take on form and bring this thing up here and how to clear so that it's no longer just so my experience, my belief right now, we're moving into a new Akashic, the Akashic, if you want to get very specific, because this has expired. Anything that's put into time is going to die. Has to. You put it into fucking time. You took it out of the absolute. You took it away from divine. It has to die. Time is no different. It has to die. So as we begin remembering our way back into these other places, as we begin talking with each other, each time that we have these conversations, we're weaving new fabrics. We're laying new fucking groundwork, which is why what you're doing is so beautiful. Thank you. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to come here and talk about it, because we're creating it, which is the way that we create, right? We create with breath. We create with words. We create through our third eye. This is where it's at. Yeah, it's all in the Egyptian. It's fucking wild. It's gorgeous.
So, then what would you say to somebody, because we have sort of a wide range that's on, like, that listen and view the show. Somebody that might feel like there's a fixed future.
Oh, how limited. And I play with this too. My man and I were talking about it today, right? Like, there's no fate. We weren't designed as fated beings. We incarnated this lifetime, this body, this time right now. We incarnated as creative beings. And so trying to break out of the paradigms so that we can be creative beings, nothing is fixed. Nothing is static. And in that place of like thinking it's fixed or static, well, we become very hopeless and very easy to control and very easy to medicate, don't we? We're creators. We're creating all of it. And so the more of us who, get to do it, and the more that pave the way so that it's viable for others, right? In conversations, we all have these experiences that we hear something and then the whole paradigm shatters, which can be a little uncomfortable at times, but I'm here with a sledgehammer for paradigms. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Well, you mentioned, so with this Akashic field, sort of collapsing out time, which is definitely in process. Do you consider that a certain dimensional frequency, like a fifth dimensional frequency, or is that not even?
Not in my paradigm right now.
Yeah.
And sorry, that's all that I can say. Like, there's so many pieces that want to come in, and it's very clear of like, nope, I can't accept that. I don't know. Huh.
So.
Helpful. I don't know.
So
because
you also
if we're really,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just going to say, like, if we're really getting into new paradigms, then why would we put any numbers or frequencies on it at all? Right? Except, like, I see time as coordinates, right? And so we could use frequencies, or we could use it as coordinates. But I think the things that move through us, I can't explain it. My brain can't comprehend that. I don't know. And I don't know too. I love staying in that part of the mystery. I don't want to know everything. That'd be awful. I'd be done if I knew everything. How boring.
Brain on overload.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it does feel like, there is this sort of transformation or transition from that, thinking too much or information, logical mind, just to the intuitive, the flow state, and the knowing.
And so it's all mental, right? Like, it's the mental field. And if you even break down the word information, it tells you the story of what has been in formation. So as we're evolving past that, baby, there's new stories to write. There's new experiences to have that we can't put into words because we can't comprehend it. So whenever I have a client who says, like, I can't even explain what happened, I'm like, fuck yeah. That's my joy, because in that expands so much. Can't even try to put it into words. That's rad.
Sort of minimizes
it. That can't be denied, right? I have an experience now that can defy anything that I can explain. There's a lot more power in that than me trying to explain it or tell somebody else.
That's right. Words are a little bit archaic in that way, with the telepathic.
And they're programmed, right? As I look up the etymology of like every word that I use right now, so that I know where it came from and like what it is and what it actually means. Because not at all passionate over here.
Not at all. Well, Andye, we're about up on time, so I just wanted to give you an opportunity. Do you want to give a shout out to how people can get a hold of you, work with you, anything that you're doing that you want to share?
Yep, AndyeMurphy.com is where you can find me right now. I'm going to be doing the Akashic Field sessions because that's my jam right now. And the more of us who can participate in it, I think we can speed some stuff up. We can accelerate because we're clearing for everybody. So AndyeMurphy.com, you can look at those Akashic Field sessions, the Akashic Evolution. I think I'm going to be seeping that out a little bit. And Confessions of a Teenage Psychic should be coming out this summer because it feels very ready and very sweet. And you can find me on all social media, Andye_Murphy, but I'm not always on there. If you want to talk to me, like, yeah, we can meet in the ethers because that's certainly where I seem to hang out a bit more.
The quickest way, right?
Quickest, fastest access. Yes, ma'am.
Love it. Well, thank you, Andye, so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on this week's journey through the unseen. So until next time, may you find peace in the spirits of the universe.